Hey, everybody, welcome back. So, I used to have this podcast called Josh the Podcast. I still have it, it's still out there, and it's actually on this feed. So, if you go backwards to back episodes, all of a sudden you'll see numbers up in the 70s, even though this is episode 0. What this is we kind of found the purpose. I was going to take 6 months off, and then I decided a few weeks ago now. I'm recording early February here, February 6th of 2018. But I decided a few weeks ago I was going to bring the podcast back early because I was not doing the work. And then I looked at my website and it had been hacked. I'd gotten out of the habit of looking at it because it had been, I was checking in weekly, and then it became every other week, and then it was just when I remembered to do it. Since I had kind of left it dormant, it got hacked. I had to deal with it for a week and a half, and within that week and a half, I discovered, hey, now I know what the work is. So I was ready to bring it back early, and here we are. Better Humanhood is a brand that we sort of soft launched, but not really. There's a Facebook group available. You can search for that in Facebook, and hopefully as the year goes on, we will start getting some discussions going. We'll get some people in that community. There is a betterhumanhood.com. It is very light on content right now. It just is a partnership between me and Kelvin Ringgold, who you know from the JKWD podcast that we do together, and his Intensely Positive podcast, which, by the way, he's back and doing really well. So what I wanted to do is rebrand the podcast, give it a focus, Better Humanhood, and we're really going to do some stuff with it. We're going to be a little less forced. There might be some times when I don't just sit down and record like I am today, where it might be, hey, I've got a thought. I'm going to record that and include it, and we'll segment that out. We are going to put some production in this time around. The audio will be pretty straight audio as that usually goes, but we're also going to excerpt some YouTube. We're going to try out some Instagram stories maybe. Haven't quite played with that yet, but if you follow me on Instagram, Joshua N. Shear, then take a look at what's going on there. I'm trying to post more regularly. I've been pretty good this past week, and we'll get more on that. But this is episode 0 of the Better Humanhood podcast, and what I want to do is talk about direction. Okay. As some of you know, I am taking the Master Key Experience course. I am also involved in a Jewish leadership course here in Savannah called Yesod. And learning about myself through the process and picking up stuff. And that's the stuff we're going to talk about today. So in the Master Key Experience, one thing we talk about is pivotal personal needs, which we abbreviate PPNs. My personal needs, the things that I need to feel fulfilled, legacy and helping others. And legacy, we're going to get through the podcast, through the blog, through the videos, anything I write. And helping others is something that I enjoy doing. That I think a lot of people know that anytime a volunteer opportunity is dropped in my lap, I'll help out. Anytime somebody needs help moving, I'm there. It makes me feel good to have people say thank you. It's just part of who I am, and mean it. Don't just say thanks because you think I want to hear it. So there's that. The other thing, another thing that we talk about in the Master Key class is having a definite major purpose. This is also, if you're the follower of Peter Diamandis, he talks about a massively transformative purpose. And I've done some exploring, inwardly, and masterminding with people, talking about uh, how does this fit me, and the things that I want to help, the things that I want to do for the world. I want people to be happier, be healthier, be kinder to each other, be more productive in their own lives. And I think all that kind of meshes together. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about kindness and how you can help people and how you can be happier and healthier and more productive in your life. And we're going to explore that through self-experimentation, really, with me. And hopefully, we'll have some conversations as time goes on. I understand that, I'm essentially starting at zero here. Anytime you shut down a project and wait a couple of months, you tend to lose people. And so we're going to build a new community. So like I said, welcome back. Glad to have you. Let's talk. Come on by right now. joshshear.com is your best place. We're not going to do extensive show notes for these, but I am going to make sure that all the episodes are up there. Might be next day sometimes, but they'll get there. Might be a couple of days later. It'll depend on how this goes. I'm not going to commit to the same day every week, but I am going to commit to every week, probably Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, since Kelvin releases on Friday and we release JKWD on Monday. Next up, my Myers-Briggs, and I know that Myers-Briggs isn't. It's not replicable from a social science standpoint. It doesn't hold up. Actually, it turns out that the only personality test that does hold up under replicable study is the 5 love languages. And so I started reading the book, and then I put it down because I got caught up in all this other stuff. So we're going to pick that back up. But my Myers-Briggs is INTJ, which is introvert, intuitive thinking, and judgment. And it's the rarest, it's the rarest Myers-Briggs result. It's something like under 1% of people who take the test come up INTJ. And apparently we're either really easy or really difficult to work with, depending on who you are, because we're who we are. As part of the leadership course, the Yesod course, they had us do the Strengths Finder, which is now called Clifton Strengths. And my top 5 are strategic, learner, analytical, achiever, and deliberative. And I want to read their descriptions of these. And I never really thought about it this way. I try to fill holes in what I have, but I've been a lot has fallen on my ears lately that says play to your strengths, don't worry about your weaknesses. You can always find somebody to fill your weaknesses if they really need to be filled. A lot of times they just don't need to be filled. There's no, if the production's a little quiet on this, then turn up your volume. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but we're going to do pretty good. I'm going to keep looking at my face instead of the camera when I'm releasing the video, and I'm not going to get all dressed up for the camera. I'm just, t-shirt and hoodie. That's who I am. It's what you'll see most of the time if you're watching the videos. But okay, so here we go. The Strengths Finder. Strategic, people who are especially talented and strategic create alternative ways to proceed faced with any given scenario that can quickly spot the relevant patterns and issues. I know that about me. I'm a pattern spotter. If you if you have a system that you don't understand how to define for somebody else, give me a call. We'll figure it out in about 20 minutes, probably, unless it's super complicated. If you have to explain everything to me, it'll take an hour. But I know that I identify patterns really well, and it's how I it's how I excel. Uh, well, typically in the jobs that I've taken in my life, I find the patterns and I find a way to build efficiency within those patterns. Learner, this is an interesting one to me, and it's also rings true. People who are especially talented in learner theme have a great desire to learn and want to continuously improve it, and bah, and to continuously improve. Period. Yeah. In particular, the process of learning rather than the outcome excites them, which says to me, and it doesn't matter what I'm learning about as long as I'm learning, which is absolutely true. Because, like I said, I picked up the 5 love languages, and we're doing the master keys, and we're doing this leadership course. I was recently reading about Ida B. Wells, who I'll have probably some thoughts on her in the next few weeks. And yes, it's absolutely a coincidence that we're relaunching in Black History Month, and I was reading Ida B. Wells. It just given who she was uh, in the journalistic world, that's where I got interested. And I was reading They Say, which is a biography of her early years. It's not where most of the work on her seems to focus. And I learned a lot, not just about her, but about life immediately after emancipation. She was born just several months before uh, Lincoln. I don't want to say Lincoln emancipated because it's not necessarily historically accurate, but after the she was born about 3 months before the Emancipation Proclamation was released and signed into law. Analytical people who are especially talented in analytical themes search for reasons and causes. They have the ability to think about all the factors that might affect a situation. Probably to a fault. That's me. But still, if you need somebody to say what could go wrong, I'm your guy. Achiever, people who are especially talented and achiever have a great deal of stamina and work hard. They take great satisfaction from being busy and productive. We did talk about, one of my, just one of my purposes for being here is to help make people more productive. And that comes through there. The other is deliberative. People who are especially talented in the deliberative theme are best described by the serious care they take in making decisions or choices. They anticipate obstacles. This one surprised me because I feel like I tend to make fairly snap decisions, but it might be that pattern recognition, and especially having been an observer and a learner over decades, of some of the things that I'm making choices on, both at work and day-to-day life, and when I'm commenting places, I feel like I dive right in, but and that seems intuitive, but it might just be that after decades of experience and learning and thinking and studying, that I've got the filters already, so the deliberation happens pretty quickly. So what I wrote on my whiteboard, I've identified, now that I've identified my needs, my purposes, my strengths, and my personality traits are what I wrote as a reminder is just a simple question: are you remaining true to yourself while utilizing your strengths to accomplish your purposes and fulfill your needs? I'll say that again and I'll break it down. Are you remaining true to yourself? Are you, am I utilizing what I know to be my personality? Am I trying to be something I'm not? And that's maybe where podcasting comes in is, introverts, it's not that we're shy necessarily, it's that we get our energy from being alone. So, I get to be alone, but with all of you, right? So while extroverts want to be around people, and sitting there looking at their computer recording is not something they like to do, they might prefer something more like Doug Stanhope's podcast, where there are 6, 7, 8 people in a room all chattering away for a couple of hours. I like this kind of solo, sometimes a one-on-one, sometimes 3 of us, but then I'm good. Especially if it's been 1 or 2 strangers that I've been talking to. I just need the reset time. And this is a reset time for me. I'm talking to myself. You all get to hear it. You're all eavesdropping, which I hope this is interesting to eavesdrop on. But this is going to be, mostly me working through my life and hopefully helping you a little bit on the way. So am I remaining true to myself? Like an introvert, intuitive, thinking and judgment, while utilizing your strengths, and focus on those strengths: strategic, learner, analytical, achiever, deliberative, to accomplish your purposes, legacy and helping others, and fulfilling your needs. The purposes are happy, health, or making people or helping people to become happy, healthy, kinder, and more productive, while fulfilling my needs, which are legacy and helping others. So that's why I'm here. That's going to be the statement of purpose. Going to be me, and I'm going to try to be unapologetically me. There's going to be some language. There wasn't any of this episode, but I tend to, that's how I grew up. That's how I talk. There's going to be some language that little Reddy is going to be on all the episodes, just so that I don't have to remember. And if there's something you want to talk about, and we'll get, Josh, the podcast focused a lot on news, and we're going to do some of that, but we're going to do it with a purpose. We're going to look at happy, healthy, kinder, more productive. And we're not going to be angry about something just to get angry about it. If there's something going on in the news that we can use as an example, that's when we'll do news. And we're going to do it whenever we can. We're going to talk news, we're going to talk sports, we're going to talk books, we're going to talk life. I know that I have some stuff coming up in my own life, and I don't know what it's going to be. I have an idea of the subject matter, but I have no idea where it goes and what the result is and how vulnerable I'm willing to be around it. But I am going to tease it, so maybe I'll feel the need to talk about it when that comes up over the next couple of weeks. And that's what we're going to do. So come on by joshshear.com. That'll be the best place for a while to get me. We're going to build out betterhumanhood.com. We're going to build a community at Better Humanhood on Facebook. There's a Better Humanhood page on Facebook, but we've transitioned to a group. So if you go to facebook.com/betterhumanhood, there's a link right at the top of the page to the group. That might be the easiest way to find it. For now, hope to see you there. And we will catch you next time. A Better Humanhood production.